Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are rejoining our crew from Rosalina Memorial Station, now inhabiting Tremonia Station in orbit of the Moon. We're going to go ahead and bring this crew back to low Earth orbit to Kauai Potato Station, so we can go ahead and cycle them out. We need to resupply both Tremonia with fuel, so that our lander can make another trip down, and the station on the surface with life support, so that a crew can survive there. So they've all been moved here into the Nemo, our taxi ship, to go from low Earth orbit to low Moon orbit. So we've double checked; it's all topped off. Everything there is pretty much ready to go. So undock. And the bump on the G, SAS on, RCS on. Make sure we are controlling from here. And we'll just pull ourselves away nice and gentle like. And while they are drifting away, we will jump back out. Oh boy. Kauai Potato Station. Set as target. That's all I wanted to do anyway. Fantastic. So I guess we'll probably have to make our ejection maneuver over here somewhere in about an hour. And we're going to have to spend a lot of time plotting nodes to try to get our angle. No, I don't want to. $907 meters per second. Yeah, okay. Nope. Alright, let's try to move this a little more. That should do it. And we probably don't need to burn quite so hard, although the burn will take quite a long time. I wonder if I can focus view on Earth without clicking on a ship that is, hey, time to clean stuff up, I guess. Alright. And oh, if that relative inclination marker stays right where it is, we are going to have a lucky, happy day. Relatively speaking. I mean, what's total inclination? Oh, .08. We can manage that. This is actually turning out to be a whole lot easier than I thought it was going to be. We're still way off, though. $1 million in some coin versus the 246,000 where we need to be. And I think 0.8 we can deal with. Nope. Oh, I wish I could control Z. That was horrible. No, did I just adjust that inclination? Alright, let's try this again. Ah, yes, the fidgeting with nodes sped up a bit. This one a little bit more important because trying to come in on some kind of inclination that roughly matches KP station is kind of important, and I kept messing it up. So that's why this has all been sped up greatly to reduce boredom. Anyway, here's old me. Good enough for me. Let's do it. Good day, Tremonia Station. I like how your lights hit the surface. That's pretty cool. Alright, we are well clear and away. Let's go ahead and open up our solar panels. Might as well get comms turned on. Our engine should be active still. Yes. Excellent. And just to make sure everything's playing above board, we're going to lock these fuel tanks. About 10 minutes out. I know this burn is probably going to... Where? Why? Oh, I'm in docking mode. That's dumb. That hasn't happened in a good long while. I don't know how long it'll take us to make this burn, but 12 minutes to make 1,500. We've got to make 847. So, might be a little late, but you never know. Yeah, let's go ahead and warp on in another minute or two. Or 5. You know, whichever. Alright. Ullage. Come on, KSP. Ignition. Alright. Gimbal is gimbaling effectively. Thrusters are keeping us leveled in. And this crew is on their way home. Well, home-ish. One more stop. At least one more launch to bring them back. So hopefully this will all go very smoothly. Just a little bit of work from the thrusters there through the physics warp portion of the burn to keep it pointed on straight. But this is an extraordinarily well-engineered craft, Little Nemo here. So smooth is actually a deliverable order this time. So switching out to map view, we'll just kind of monitor our progress. As you noticed before, I do not have all the tanks unlocked, so that Delta V figure is by no means a total of what we have all together, but we're going to try to match our perigee at Earth as close to the orbit of KP Station as we can. So that'll just make things a little easier in the end, and also hopefully keeping that relative inclination at somewhat of a marginal or a manageable level. And there's engine shutdown, just a little bit of touch up on the thrusters to bring that Earth periapsis up to about 250 some odd kilometers, and then the great node Fandango. Turns out we will not be going out to that outer ascending descending node, so we're just going to try to make a burn right here after finally being able to zoom out so we can select target on Earth to make this whole ordeal a little bit more manageable. Yeah, our inclination is off by a couple of degrees here or there, but basically if we can make this burn to get ourselves a nice intercept, that would be cool. I don't really think it's actually going to be a thing. We're still in the couple of tens of thousands of kilometers, but if we roll our two burns together to adjust our inclination, it pushes our ascending descending nodes out to the points where our orbits do not intersect. So we're going to end up splitting it into two burns, one to lower our orbit considerably, but still giving us enough leeway to adjust our relative inclination at a higher altitude where we can hopefully match orbits with KP Station all in one fell swoop. So just a quick check over of our tanks. We're going to centralize our pontoons. They will still be burning first so as to equalize out our weight distribution. And then now my ninth attempt to get this node correct. And there we go. So we will add a maneuver out here to correct for our inclination, which as you can see is off by, a couple of degrees, but it matters a whole lot. That burn will be 100 and some change meters per second, which is extraordinarily cheap. There's an alarm that I have no idea what it's for. I think it was a life support final warning for this crew at Rosalina Memorial Station. Whew, my apologies. And now we have the crew making its approach into Earth. So we're going to get them angled into the node 1043 meters per second on this initial deceleration burn. And this is just going to keep them from flying out someplace. It's also a good chance to dump our carbon dioxide waste and wastewater. That saves us 1 or 2 meters per second total, but every little bit helps, I suppose. And just a quick check over all of our fuel tanks, because we may have to redistribute some things in order to maintain weight balance. But we still have a bit over 4 kilometers per second in the tank, and we'll be right around that figure upon completion of this burn. We're just going to go ahead and try to get it as close to the node as we possibly can, seeing as how that node out there actually puts us on a fairly decent intercept for the station. Of course, I will mess absolutely everything up. So this is just a quick double check to see about targeting and getting our final approach lined up as best we can. It's not going extraordinarily well, as you can tell by my excessive tugging around at nodes. Trying to get something even remotely close together is a little weird sometimes, but if we take an extra orbit as basically a lap orbit, we can actually get this down to about 1 kilometer, which is pretty cool, provided of course we don't go sailing right past our inclination adjustment, which I just did by about 4 minutes. We will blame pilot Alice Campbell for, I don't know, falling asleep or something. It could be. This is a pretty boring ride. Anyway, we're going to just try to dial this in as accurately as possible. Not always the smoothest thing to do on RCS, but we do get it relatively close, and now we just got to make adjustments to our I guess the rest of our deceleration burn to put us on an intercept course for KP station. Of course, rolling as much of this together as you can is always the most efficient. There's our lap, and now coming up on our actual braking burn, 2,054 meters per second. So once again, we will vent our excess waste products. Again, just saves us a little bit here and there. Why not? Get ourselves angled into the node about 8 minutes outside of the burn. It says this burn will take 10 minutes. I'm not sure if I believe that figure entirely, because in 11 minutes we can go almost 4 kilometers per second. So 5 minutes out from the node, we'll go ahead and light our engines. If we could just be a little bit early, that's fine. I will be dialing in the separation at closest approach via RCS once the burn has completed. And the craft is now kind of returned to a very well-balanced state. Our pontoons, I don't know why I have such a problem pronunciating that word, are now empty. And there's an excellent screeny for the day as we slip into the nighttime side of Earth. Those solar panels not doing us a whole lot of good, but looking absolutely magnificent while they do it. Within a meter per second or so of our initial burn, and 140 kilometers was our initial separation at closest approach. We'll just touch this up by holding thrusters a lot. It actually took a whole lot of work and a whole lot of just standing on a key, a different key here and there, trying to get this separation actually dialed in, which was not nearly as much fun or as accurate as I think the node plotting made it out to be, or I just really screwed up the timing on the whole thing. Anyway, here's old me, a little frustrated. It's very interesting. RCS is off, and our separation at closest approach is steadily falling, which is very interesting, because nothing here, according to Mech Jeb, says that should be happening at all. But I'm just going to let it fall a bunch more before I go into regular time warp and see if we can't capitalize on this a bit. We're still very much in orbit. We still got a lot to burn before we can make rendezvous. So fuel might get a little tight. I'm not going to just sit here and burn thruster fuel for the hell of it. But it looks like the rate of change in our separation at closest approach is not varying based on our physics speed. And now it has stopped entirely. That's good at 10 kilometers. Let's turn arm RCS and see if we can't make a difference. Yeah, there we go. That's the impact I was looking for. So what exactly was causing that change in our separation of closest approach? I don't quite understand. Not going to argue with it. Although I feel like I definitely had to make up for it with this last little bit, because it was very difficult and extraordinarily inefficient to burn off this last 9 kilometers or so. And it did take quite a good long while, and I neglected to take the time to balance out the fuel load. So we're actually going to be a bit off balance, which is causing some shimmying of the spacecraft, which of course is reducing the effectiveness of these thruster-based maneuvers. Although a long and slow process it was, we did actually, eventually, very, very eventually, get our separation at closest approach down to just a couple of tens of meters. Although it's, I guess, a spoiler at this point, because it's probably going to be several more minutes before we actually get it to happen. Now, had I taken the time to actually balance out the fuel or the, well, I guess the life support doesn't need to be balanced because it drains equally from all tanks. Yeah, had I balanced the fuel, this probably would have gone a little bit more smoothly for me. Although, I guess, basically being punished for getting a free ride that was worth at least 2 kilometers of separation, that, this is more than making up for it. But truth be told, we've got 1.6 kilometers per second still left in the tanks, so we're actually well within margin for completion of this mission, and I do foresee us being able to hit docking without any problems. So as far as the inaugural run of Little Nemo here, he has passed with absolutely flying colors. There we go, 89 meters, so we'll just warp around the hour and some change it will take for this rendezvous to occur. And yeah, I'm going to leave it in time warp as long as I absolutely can, because I really hate dealing with that distance changing thing in time warp that seems to always happen. And we'll just wander right past our closest approach, fire the engines. It was only like 90 some odd meters per second to burn. And there she is, Kawaii Potato Station, just about 100 and some odd meters away. I forgot to hit F4 to bring up the targeting reticle to give us an exact loadout or figure, but not that it matters. Our approach coming in at about 8.1 meters per second. It burned off a whole lot faster than I thought it would on these nicely powerful thrusters. So now it's just which docking port do we want? How about this one? Just opposite the cupola, which always makes for a, I don't know, a good look, I guess. They can just get out of the spacecraft and go have a nice, much more satisfying look around. Yeah, I'm sure all of them are eager to get out, stretch their legs. I don't know how that works exactly in microgravity or zero-G. If you really need to stretch, anyway. Now that we are close enough, we will switch our guidance to the docking port itself and try to get ourselves roughly lined up so that we can just operate single axis at a time. Again, I wish I had balanced the fuel load, but it was really not as hard to deal with, considering some of the things that I've built are way more off axis and way less balanced than this thing will ever be, even in the most dire of circumstance. And there's our approach coming in nice and easy. We'll slow this down to real-time speed here. Easy peasy. This thing, an absolute delight to try to dock. Anyway, here is old me to celebrate, I guess. Docked. Brilliant. And they are now safe and girl safer. At least they're closer to being home. It'll be a minute before we can get them there, and it looks like we're going to need a resupply out here also. That'll be fun. Anyway, yeah, so I guess we know what we're up to next time. So anyway, that's going to do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.